Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Birthday to you. Birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Edgar. Birthday to you, Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday, dear Edgar.
Welcome to Film Juice, everybody. I'm your host, Andrew Canada.
And I'm Joe Dorado.
What's going on? So we have a very special episode planned out for today.
Yes, we do.
As some of you may know, the director, Edgar Wright, his birthday was this week.
Yeah.
And so we're doing a special. We're going to be talking about three of his, some of his most popular movies.
Yeah.
First one, we're going to do them in order from when they came out. So the first one we're going to do is Shaun of the Dead from 2004. Why don't you tell us about the movie, Joe?
Great movie. Well, this movie is about two guys. It's about more people, but basically two guys who are just living their lives in the UK, somewhere in the UK.
Yeah.
And basically, they're both losers. They're both big losers, and they're
just huge losers.
Yeah, like they don't do anything. Like they're not great people, and basically they realize like one day that the world has just been taken over by zombies.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, there's just a zombie apocalypse that just happens out of nowhere. And then hilarity ensues. That's like, I don't know like what else to say.
That was it. That was it. You don't need to say anymore. You nailed it with that. I could listen to you describe movies all day. Well, it's like this, but there's also kind of this in it. But let's talk. So let's talk about this movie. I want to say that as far as British comedy goes, the only two things that have ever really been on my radar are obviously Monty Python.
Yeah.
Because phenomenal.
It's really
and
good.
these two guys, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Such
Nick
a good
Frost.
duo.
And those guys are hilarious.
They're so funny, and this movie gets physical comedy down so well. Like I think that's the main pull of this movie, comedy-wise, is the physical comedy that they do. It's really funny, and they really know how to do it. They just know comedic timing really well, I think.
Yeah, both of those guys, they do have very good timing. Anytime that they show up in any other movie,
Yeah.
I just
I don't know.
I get excited, and it's because of this is the first time that I ever saw one of their movies.
Yep.
And it's very funny.
The one guy was in Tomb Raider, and he was a funny character.
Yeah, Nick
in Tomb
Frost.
Raider. Yeah, he was really funny.
That's a perfect example.
Exactly.
We were like, oh, that's Nick Frost.
Simon Pegg was in Star Wars too.
Yep, he was in Star Wars. He's obviously in the Star Trek
it's
movies.
really funny.
So these guys, and Simon Pegg also wrote it. He's a good writer as well. And
Yeah.
Edgar Wright helped write this as well. This was the first, as I'm sure a lot of people watching know, that they have done a sort of a trilogy of comedies.
It's not
this group, Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, and Edgar Wright.
And it's not really like a connected universe. It's more like they just...
But just that group just getting together
they're very
and
similar
having a good
movies.
time.
They're similar, not story-wise, but
just
character and
just
structure.
Structurally.
Yes.
It's two guys and then something wild happens and hilarity ensues.
Yeah. So the other two would be Hot Fuzz and the other one is End of the World or something like that. Yeah. And Hot Fuzz is my favorite out of the three. But
which is a lot of people's.
Yes.
That's a very funny movie.
It's really good. But Shaun of the Dead is still really good. I think Shaun of the Dead is a lot of people's favorites too. I think it really switches between Shaun of the Dead and this one.
Yeah. Well, I think that this one maybe because where Hot Fuzz is sort of a combination of action.
It has
and comedy,
a lot of different things.
Which we've seen a lot. This is comedy horror.
Yeah.
Which is hard to pull off. Putting those two together. I can't really think of any example off the top of my head. Oh, the scary movies, obviously.
Yes.
But those are those are sort of stupid for the sake of being stupid. This one is really it's a horror comedy, but it's also a good movie.
And it's a really good movie, I think. I think it's not my favorite of his, but it's good. And one of my favorite things that happens in this movie and his other movies is Edgar Wright's directing style with how he shoots montages and how he edits montages. I think the montages in these movies are amazing. They're some of the best montages you'll ever see in a movie, in my opinion. And I also have to say his transitions, and I'll talk about this in his other movies, are amazing. They are so good, and his directing style is just so unique and so smooth and just fast-paced.
That's what I like about
it,
is because it is smooth. That's probably the first word that I would use to describe it because I just love the way he moves the camera.
It's very quick.
You know what I mean?
So quick, yeah.
And editing as well, you're right, there's a lot of merit in that. But it's interesting what you just said about how he's smooth and then also very quick.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, maybe those two aspects might oppose each other.
Yeah.
But they work. And again, some of the other movies we're going to be talking about later, the same thing. It's just a harmony of those elements.
And he does that, and he makes a good point of that in every movie. Lesser than others, but this movie especially, I think this was when he really did that. Especially, one of my favorite scenes is when he first realizes when the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
And it's the same shot as the shot before it, except the apocalypse happened. And it's hard to explain, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And it's so funny. And the blood slip is the best. I love that scene. And it's really good. The fence scene is really funny.
That's a good scene.
Another one that's really, and that's also like an homage to Hot Fuzz, because in Hot Fuzz, he jumps over. So in Hot Fuzz, he jumps over all of the fences, and in this one, he doesn't.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
And
then also, I love the I love that scene. It's so good. But no, this movie is really good.
You know what? There are like some really dark parts in this movie.
The end of the movie is like nuts. The end of the movie is insane.
That's crazy. But some of the when some of the side characters like get caught by the zombies.
Yeah.
And like some of those scenes are like pretty intense.
It gets
very big tonal shift.
Yeah, in the last scene, the last stand in the movie, it happens, especially with, but it kind of ends on a happy note. It's a funny note.
Yes,
it ends on a funny note.
which is good. It's what it needs.
It's like it goes over the top at the end. It's really funny though. It's just they really hit the comedy. And that's the main pull of this movie is I think it's very funny. And it's just well shot. I don't know what I don't like about this movie, really. I think sometimes it's hard to watch, I'd have to say. In the way that I think the movie makes you uncomfortable, and I think his other movies do that as well. But I think this one, some parts, the jokes just didn't land for me. And I don't know if it's just because British comedy,
Right.
It might just be because of that.
Yeah.
But for a British comedy, I think most of the jokes landed. I just think some of them didn't land, and also it does get slow at some parts. But that's just my personal.
But all in all, very good movie.
Yeah, all in all, it's a great.
Especially for coming out in 2004, being a comedy this well done. Very good. What do you rate it?
I would have to rate it 7.5. 7.5 juice boxes.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7 myself.
Yeah, and I think it's completely fair. It's good. It's just a good movie.
It's
not amazing,
very
but it's very enjoyable.
Right.
Yes. So we'll see you right after these messages.
PBS.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda, poco a poco, aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates.
Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can.
Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Film
Welcome
Juice.
back to Film Juice. I'm your host, Joe.
And I am Andrew Canada.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us. We're doing the Edgar Wright special.
Yeah.
This next movie,
Oh.
we're going to be talking about, Joe, just go ahead.
So, this next movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And this movie...
2010.
Yeah, 2010, thank you.
Based on the graphic novels.
And video games.
Right, by...
And this movie is basically about this character, Scott Pilgrim, played by
Michael
Cera. And basically it's him and his group of friends. And they go... Basically, there's these boyfriends, the 7 deadly exes. And basically what happens is he wants to have this one girlfriend, but he can't until he defeats the 7 deadly exes, and each ex has like a different thing, and they're like all different boss battles, and it's very music related because he's in a band, and it's like a lot of music stuff, and there's video game stuff, and it's stylistically great. And anyways, I can't say anything more about this movie without gushing over it. So
Great.
Yeah.
Is it my turn now?
That's basically the movie. That's basically the movie.
Can I go now, Joe? Can I go?
Yeah, but say what you like first. Say what you like about the movie. We're not going to go into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I like about the movie is... What I really, really like about the movie is the way that they incorporate the fact that it is based off of graphic novels by Brian Lee O'Malley and video games.
Yes.
That is excellently well done. Because what he does is there are like these little cartoons, I guess, that kind of like these little graphics that pop up along whenever there's like a specific sound sometimes, or
it's so
just
cool.
just to add effect. And I think that in some cases people have or maybe could have tried to do things like that, and it just doesn't work. Like it's just like cheesy or kind of dumb or distracting. But this it works really well.
It works really well.
And I also enjoy the same thing that we were talking about that Edgar Wright does in a lot of his movies. It's just camera movements exceptional. Editing off the charts.
Amazing.
Obviously. Yep. So those technical aspects are the things that I like about this movie.
Before we move on to what you don't like, I'm going to say what I like about the movie.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So what I liked about this movie, I love all those things as well. I think the story is great. I love the story, and I think it is so well done. And I also, I think they get the comedic writing of this movie down fantastic.
Okay, let me interject for just a second with the comedy. There are some funny moments that are done exceptionally well. The thing where Scott jumps out the window, that's funny.
It's hilarious. It is. It is. Okay, I love these. There's so many funny moments in this movie. Like that part, the part where I'm gonna butcher the line, but it was like that really emo band, and they're like, we hate everything, blah blah. And then the one guy is like, I love you, and he's like, this is the guy in the back, we hate your guts. Amazing. I butchered that line so hard, but it doesn't matter. I love that scene. So there's that, and the fight scenes are awesome in this movie. The fight scenes are so cool. I think the fight scenes are so well done, and it's just awesome. And the story is great. Like I said, I think it's a great spin on the 7 deadly sins. I love that part about it. I also really think the acting is great. I love the acting in this movie. I think Michael Cera does an amazing job, and wait. Michael Cera does an amazing job, and this is the thing about Michael Cera. He is an awkward character, but I think he plays the character
that's
perfect.
what he's typecast as.
And I think he plays it perfect. I love the girl. I love the girlfriend in the movie because she's just like this weird.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's a good actress. I like her a lot.
I like her. I like Michael Cera's roommate. And
who is Kieran Culkin, who's Macaulay Culkin's brother.
And I love Chris Pratt in this movie. I think he's hilarious in this movie. And that's really it. The fight scenes are amazing in this movie. I think they're all so well done. There's so many. One thing with the editing, the match cuts are great.
Yeah.
The match cuts are awesome. Like he doesn't really. This is like the movie. I think each movie focuses on one thing. I think this movie focuses on match cuts, and it does it so well, and it's awesome. Anyways. That is everything I like about this movie. I love this movie so much. I think it's amazing. I think everyone should watch this movie, and I think it's one of the best stylized video game and comic book movies ever. You can go. What don't you like?
Joe. Gosh, just about everything.
Okay,
well, I
let's
mean,
go.
aside from the things we talked about, I don't like the writing. The acting, aside from Michael Cera's, I don't like.
Okay.
His roommate is okay.
Why? What about it? What about it don't you like? The acting, other than Michael Cera. Like, do you think it's too cheesy? Like, what is
some parts, some of the characters.
Because it is over the top, and I think it's supposed to be though. Like, that is the point of it. Is supposed to be over the top.
I don't think it worked. It
No,
didn't.
it did.
No, it didn't. It didn't work for
How?
me.
Okay.
It didn't work for me.
But
maybe it worked for you. It didn't work for me.
I think with this movie, you have to suspend your disbelief to a point where it's just a dumb, like, fun
Okay, there
movie.
you go. That's the key word.
No,
but this movie does suck, though. If you ask me, I think this.
Okay.
I think this movie.
Okay.
I think
so
this
the
movie
you didn't like the acting.
Didn't like the acting.
Okay.
I don't like it. Parts of it just make me very uncomfortable.
What?
I don't
but
know,
it's the
Joe.
point.
It's
It
just
is you're supposed to feel uncomfortable at those parts.
not that
Yes.
uncomfortable.
Yes, you are.
No.
You are. Yes,
no,
you
because
are.
you don't know what parts I'm talking about. I don't just feel uncomfortable at the parts where Scott is being like awkward or whatever. I feel uncomfortable during the fight scenes.
How?
Because
Okay,
they're
give me-
weird.
They're so awesome. Tell me what's weird about them, please.
The
please.
characters are, and there are stars in this movie as well.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Evans, Jason Schwartzman.
I mean, not Chris Pratt. Chris Evans.
You
I'm
were
an idiot.
saying-
Chris Evans. I meant Chris Evans. That is what I meant. I'm sorry. His scene's
But
amazing.
it's so
not Chris
cringy.
Pratt. He's not
It's
in this
so
movie.
cringy.
No, it's not. How?
It is
Tell me,
cringy.
please tell me why.
You know the feeling of cringe?
Yes.
That's what it is.
I know what it feels like.
Because
why?
What do you mean why? Because you watch it and it's cringy.
No, that's not a good enough reason. Because it is so. Because
I'm talking about how this movie makes me feel, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I know that you might think I'm the only one.
I know you're
because
definitely
we've
in the minority.
Talked about this.
I know you're definitely in the minority.
And that
'cause
may
this
be
is
true,
such
but
a
I
big-
don't know. I don't understand. Like, I watched this movie once.
Yeah.
And that was fine, but I never want to watch it again.
I don't understand.
I never, ever want to see this movie ever again. And I don't hate it, but I do think that it's just not good. I don't have fun watching it at all. But as we discussed, there are certain merits to it.
I gotta just say, I think, I can't believe, like, I can understand the idea of you thinking maybe it's dumb or it's over the top or cheesy, but I don't understand how you can say it's not fun. I don't understand that.
I don't
because
think it's fun.
from someone who really enjoyed Ready Player One, I don't understand how you can
can't
say,
compare
dude,
Ready
you can,
Player
you
One
can,
to Scott
you can
Pilgrim.
completely compare.
Are you kidding
me?
me?
I'm not. Because the fact that you loved Ready Player One that much.
That movie was excellent.
And this movie is almost like it is just as fun. I don't understand how you can say
not.
no. Yeah, it is.
This
it is.
movie
That
is
movie's just as
bad.
cheesy. It is just as corny. And I
No,
don't.
it's not. Are you kidding me? Oh my God!
It is.
What do
It
you
is.
rate this movie, Joe? Let's go to the ratings.
I rate this movie an 8.5.
Which
it's
is
not perfect.
unbelievable.
Shut up. It's not perfect.
8.5
It
is
is
too
not
high.
perfect, but it is really good. So I think everyone should watch it and get their own opinion on it, but I think it's really good.
No, okay, go ahead.
And there you go.
Please watch it and have your own opinion.
8.5 juice boxes out of 10. Shouldn't get any lower. Fantastic.
Yes, it
movie.
should. It
But
should
tell me-
definitely get lower. Even for someone who likes it, I
No.
don't think 8.5
Are
is
you
high.
kidding me?
I'm going to give it a 4.5, which is
Jesus.
generous.
No.
It is.
Oh my God.
Because
you're being harsh for no reason.
No, I'm not.
You loved Ready Player One. And
Yes,
this
I
movie,
did.
And this movie's just like that. Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
This is.
Unbelievable.
We got to stop talking.
Unbelievable.
We're gonna
Yes,
fight.
We got to get to the next movie.
we're
So
getting to the
we
next
are
movie.
going to take a quick break, and we will be right back, everybody.
God.
What the? Oh my God, Joe. Unbelievable.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
A Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda, poco a poco, aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates,
our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can.
Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to Film Juice,
Welcome back to Film
everybody.
Juice.
Andrew Canada here with Joe Dorado.
Yep.
Next movie we're going to be talking about was one of my favorite movies to come out last year, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Great movie. Amazing
excellent
movie.
If you weren't able to catch it over the summer, it's about a fella whose name is Baby, which is a weird name for a character,
Great
I think.
name, though.
But it doesn't really matter because
Yeah.
the rest of the movie is very good. So it's about this character named Baby. He has a hearing problem. His ears are always ringing, so to drown out the sound, he's constantly listening to his iPod. But he's also an excellent driver, so he gets hired by a fella to be a getaway driver for all these different robberies. And it's really good. At some point, you know, he falls for a girl. He tries to get out of the life. Obviously, the fella doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want him to leave. So there's that conflict.
Yes.
Very good movie. My favorite thing about this movie is that it's so original.
Yes.
And
no,
that's
it
the
is.
same reason that I really enjoyed some of the other movies that we talked about, is because, like A Quiet Place, because it's an original idea.
Yes. I will say this is an original idea. I think the story structure is very similar. Like
Right.
You've
It's been
seen
done a
this
million
before.
times, but this spin on it
is original.
Very
I
original.
do agree with that. I think I'll start with the acting. I think the acting in this movie was great.
Yep, no doubt about it.
I loved it. Ansel Elgort, is that his name?
Yeah.
Great.
He plays
I
Baby.
loved him. He was awesome. His character was very likable. He was a very likable and charismatic character. And there are just scenes that he's just in, and you just smile because like he just is. He's very charming. I'll say that.
He is very charming. I think the
that's
music
the
as
word.
well helps with that, because music is such a big part of this movie, and it was done incredibly well.
It was. It was really done well.
And so there are parts that you just like, you know, there's a song playing, there's certain action happening, you can't not feel good.
And I think the way Edgar Wright, I think, like I said, I think each movie has its own like special thing that he focuses on. I think Scott Pilgrim was the effects. I think Shaun of the Dead was the editing, the comedy. I think this movie is definitely the music. And I think
just sound in general.
And I think, and sound. I think it's the way he uses it to tell the story, and not just tell the story in an editing way, but a story way, like in a story way, so structurally.
Well, and I think what you mean by that is that the music that's played, you know, while it does do what music in films normally does, which bring about a certain emotion for that scene, it's instrumental to the story.
Yes.
Okay, it goes along with it and it furthers the plot in certain aspects.
Yes, exactly.
Which is a unique thing.
Like,
you don't see that a
like
lot.
the whole thing with, this isn't giving anything away, the whole thing with the Brighton Rock thing, how that comes back is great. Like, I think that is awesome. I lit up when I, like, with the whole thing, like, just how they have it in the beginning and then how they bring it back. It's a great way to, like, do that whole sequence, and I love that.
And they play, and, you know, I mean, we could talk about the sound of this movie for hours.
No, yeah.
Which is what we should do sometime. But you know, they also, like, he plays with diegetic and non-diegetic sound very well. Things kind of, like, overlap, and maybe you think it's doing this, and then it's not. You know, the source of the sound, where it's coming from, is really cool.
I think the other really big pull from this movie is these are some of the best driving sequences in any movie.
No doubt about it.
In any movie.
Even if you take probably the biggest driving franchise, Fast and the Furious.
Oh, this does it
like,
right.
this blows the way that those scenes are edited. Like, it blows it out of the water.
And it's because Edgar knows how to
I think the editing, and also
he knows how
because
to edit them.
if you do continue to compare Fast and the Furious in this, the number of shots for a driving scene in Fast and the Furious is still a lot, because you're always going to have a lot when you're shooting a scene like that. But for these, there's like a lot more shots,
And
so you can see it in more detail.
And I also think it's very. He does a great job of showing you the driving. It's not very choppy or shaky. He's not just like zooming in on stuff. You see the entire car doing these crazy stunts. Like the one lawn shot down the alleyway in the first scene where he does the flip, and like there's no cuts.
Yeah, it was cool.
Insane. And he does that so many other times. And
yeah, that was nuts.
There's so many great driving sequences in this movie, and I think that's the pull of this movie. Like the part where the random dude comes out with a shotgun with the truck, that was insane. Like, you know what I mean? And that stuff is really done well. And the way those go with the music is great. And I think it's awesome. And I also really like the love story. I think it's a little cheesy, and I think it's a little stereotypical with the girl.
But you know what? In this movie, I kind of like it.
I get it.
Yeah.
But that is one, like, it's just the girl specifically is a little stereotypical.
Like,
yeah,
too stereotypical.
Yeah, very stereotypical, but like.
Which she still does a good job. Lily James, who plays the love interest,
she's great.
She's a good actress.
She's great, and she's very likable, and she does her part well. It's just, I like the old man in this movie.
Yes.
He's really great.
Yes,
I really
Joseph,
like him.
who
he's not in a
Baby
lot.
lives with. But he does, but he's
good when he's in it.
C.J. Jones is that actor's name, and he's not like been in a lot of stuff, but like he does good in that role.
Kevin Spacey, rest in peace.
His career.
Yeah. He was pretty good in this movie. This was before all the bad stuff about him came out. And yeah, what else? Oh, can I just say one of my favorite lines that he does is when all of a sudden it's like this random scene, and all of a sudden it cuts to him going, "Bananas." I don't know if you remember that scene. It's really funny. Also, Jamie Foxx, really quick. Jamie Foxx is amazing in this movie.
Yeah, the character that he plays is not necessarily different from any character that I've seen him play before, but it feels almost like he just, you know, he tries in it. You know what I mean?
He steals the scene.
He does steal the scene.
Like the scene with the diner.
Yes,
and he's
yes. Very powerful character.
He's really good. He's a great villain.
Yeah.
Anyways, also the other guy was really good. They're all really great. Just see this movie. It's really good.
Yes, definitely go see it.
Where are you going to rate this movie?
I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm going to give it
so good.
Yeah, I'm going to give this movie a 9.5. The only thing that keeps it is definitely my favorite Edgar Wright movie. The only thing that keeps this down is you have seen the story before. Like, you've seen the structure before, and also the stereotypes were a little too much for me.
Yeah,
but it was really good. Please see this movie. Out of all his movies,
you definitely. This is one I would say everyone should see.
Really quick, thanks to Jack. Jack knows why I'm saying thanks. That's all I wanted to say. Okay.
Okay. nice shout out, Joe.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys watching, Jack included.
Yeah.
We hope you liked our little Edgar Wright special that we did, and we will be back next week with some new movies and a really good throwback.
Yes. Oh,
you don't want to miss it.
It's going to be awesome.
We'll see you then, and we will see you next time at the movies. Thanks, everybody.